Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video to the channel. Welcome to today's episode of the League's Equilibrium Reveals. So today we have got one just dropping, and it's going to be quite a nice one to talk through. This is going to be the passive things you get from relics and blessings as well. So a nice big walkthrough of all the different tiers. So relics will go from tier 1 to tier 7. Very much the same for the blessings as well. And we'll talk through all the passives you're going to get from unlocking these tiers. So it's not going to be relics. It's just once you get up the different tiers, you get passives along with it as well, which are going to be things like XP boost and other benefits. Now, if you guys are enjoying the videos, please make sure to leave me a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, let me know your thoughts on these passives as we work our way through. And if you're someone who's an avid viewer of Market Watch, it was released this morning, so go and check on the channel as well. I'll put a link in the corner of the video if you guys want to go and check that out. However, let's go and jump in and let's see what we've got for this. Now, I'm going to have the white background below just so it's easy for read and also it's a little bit easy for you guys to see. Sorry about that. If I can make it any better in the editing, I will do, but we'll just go through. So tier 1, so this is going to be for Relic. So unlocking tier 1, which you'll be able to get basically from logging in. So we're going to have a ×5 multiplier. All farming crops grow 5 times faster. Run energy rapidly replenishes to 100%. The Archaeology Guild shop is fully available, so there's no need to go and chase ranks and stuff. You can go and get the full benefit of the Archaeology shop from the start, which is really nice actually, because the auto screener, if you're someone who's going to plan to do Archaeology, is actually really nice. Receive 5 times as many chronotes when handing in artifacts and collections. Souls earned from necromancy rituals are increased by 400%, which is actually really nice because you do have the necromancy talent tree, and if you're someone who's going to go and focus on a necromancy build, it's really nice to be able to go and get those souls quick. You don't want to kind of waste your league's time chasing souls. So big fan of that. Bossing respawns faster on all speed presets, which is nice because you don't want to be waiting for bosses to spawn either. So once you're camping something, it seems like there'll be pretty much an automatic respawn, which is really, really nice. The invention tutorial is auto completed. So I assume this means that even without like 80 smithing, divination and crafting, you can jump in straight away to invention, which is actually pretty massive. Invention is such a game-changing skill for RuneScape, and if you're someone who's coming over from 07 to give it a try, essentially what Invention allows you to do is to add perks and benefits to your armors to go and get improved like accuracy and stuff like that as well. Invention is quite a deep skill, which we'll try and cover some of the basics when we're doing a progression series and also throw it in a couple of the shorts and the long-form content as well. So for tier 1, actually that is pretty stacked. You've got some really, really good rewards. Farming seems to have got a lot of love over this relic passive and also the relic from yesterday, which is nice because it really is quite essential. Herblore really is strong in RuneScape. It's the ability to get overloads and the combination potions as well is a very, very strong thing to have. Tier 2, so this is going to be a ×8 XP multiplier. Valor, which is the currency for minigames. There are a few things worthwhile hunting out in minigames, and maybe that's something we can do beforehand to give you guys a bit of a rough idea of what is worthwhile chasing, but Valor is earned at 10 times the rate, which is really nice. Rare items are 2 times more common. Slayer points and Reaper points are multiplied by 5 when completing a task, which is very nice actually. Again, you don't want to be farming Slayer points to be able to skip tasks and stuff like that, so that is a very nice thing. Heart of Gielinor, Menethos and farming reputation is multiplied by 4. Now, I'm really interested to see if the Heart of Gielinor, they were talking about removing all the benefits of reputation. So be interested to see if that is there as well. Archaeology lore pages are 30% more common. You might think this is a bit of a passive one or something not really worthwhile looking into, but this is what's linked to a lot of mysteries. Mysteries are things you can do in terms of archaeology to go and get XP buffs, but also once you've got full completion of certain dig sites, you're able to go and get the dig site manager as part of your archaeology team if you're looking for it as well. So tier 3, where applicable, skill cape perks except defense are passive as long as you have level 99 or 120 of the skill. When defeating enemies, there's a 10% chance to obtain 8 times common or uncommon invention materials, which again, very nice. A lot of the invention training or perking the best perks on your armors is a lot of painful gatherings resources and leveling it up, but that is actually really nice. 10% chance on when you're farming some decent tier bosses to be able to get the uncommon and uncommon materials as well. Really nice just to build up your invention stack as well. But tier 3, no multiplier in terms of the XP, going to be a pretty passive tier. But then we're going to tier 4 is when we're going to get the 12 times XP multiplier. So this is when rare items are going to be 4 times as common. Unlock all items on the tool belt. When defeating enemies, there's a 20% chance to obtain 12 times common or uncommon invention materials. Kill count is no longer required to enter God War's dungeon encounters. Kill count is no longer required for the Heart of Gielinor. Ascension Keystones are no longer required to fight the Legions. And Keys to the Crossing are no longer required to fight the Magister, which again, especially the sort of Ascension creatures and the Magister, that is a real pain to go and gather those keys. Kill count it like the God Wars ones, yeah, it's a little bit annoying, but for a tier 4, that's a bit sort of like, don't really need it by that point. But you know what, the Ascension Keystones and the Keys to the Crossing, we will take that. Moving on to tier 5, which also doesn't have a buff on the XP multiplier, rare items are 6 times more common. You can swap spellbooks and prayers at the League Sage. When getting assigned a Soul Reaper task from death, you'll be able to choose which task you want. When defeating enemies, there's a 20% chance to obtain 20 times common or uncommon invention materials. Augmented items gain experience 4 times faster. That's going to be really nice. Invention is going to be such a free 200 mil, and 200 mils are normally the big point tasks as well, so it's going to be such a free one as well. Tier 6, we are then going to get the 16 times multiplier. Rare items are 8 times more common. All Seren spells and prayers are unlocked. And that is pretty much for tier 6, but by the tier 6 point, the passives aren't really there. It's more of a relics which take over. I always think that when it comes to like leagues and stuff, the passives between like tier 1 and tier 3 are kind of more important than relics. And then once you get kind of past tier 3, that's when the relic powers really sort of kick in and take over from there as well. So tier 7, rare items are now 10 times more common. The advanced time spell can be cast without limit. Now, again, if you're someone who's played old school or you're a lower level who doesn't know what the advanced time spell is, essentially, there are certain resources you can gain, Throne of Miscellanea, play around farms, archaeology, teams which you set out to go and gather resources from dig sites, which have like a 24-hour cycle. With the advanced time spell, you can simply just skip that. So you can do it within a second of casting a spell. The resources are there, the Throne of Miscellanea has been claimed. Very, very strong. It's correct as a tier 7 passive, but it's a very strong one and one way you can go and like level up a lot of things. So yeah, in terms of the passives, there's quite a lot of decent things here. Obviously the multipliers are really good. I think they're spread out between the tiers correctly. I do think that tier 1 and tier 2 is stacked nicely, mainly to the benefit of like that's when you really want these passives to be the most important. But yeah, there's nothing overly overpowered here, but I think that's correct because what you want that to come from is from the relics. So let me know which ones you think are really beneficial. Would there be anything in terms of these passives you change? So we've had a fantastic comment section, just a slight sort of detour. Fantastic comment section over the past couple of days where you guys are helping each other out. Really giving some great content in terms of the comments. So thank you guys so much for that. But let's keep it going. Let's keep it going for the rest of these reveals. So the next one is going to be the blessing. So this is a bit of a short one, so hopefully we should fly through it. So tier 1. 50% chance to save runes in combat, 50% chance to save ammunition, and to save ectoplasm and runes when casting abilities and incantations as well. So that's pretty standard actually for a tier 1 to save all that. And again, in the early phases of like leagues and training and stuff, that save on ammunition and runes is actually quite big. You also get 1 blessing progression reset as well. So that should be with like the godly blessings and stuff. If you wanted to go like start with Saradomin and then think, you know what, let's go all DPS and change Zamrak, it's nice that you got the ability to reset those as well. Tier 2, the dive ability is automatically unlocked, which when I first read this, I thought, well, that's no big deal because you can get it with like 30 agility. There might be spots, depending on which region you pick first, where you don't actually go and get that ability to get 30 agility. So to have the dive ability unlocked is quite nice. Your attack range for all combat styles increased by 1 tile. Maximum range is capped at 10 tiles. Again, this will be pretty big actually, so that would be real nice. Tier 3, you're going to have 75% chance to save runes, ammunition, and then also ectoplasm and runes when casting abilities. All movement abilities are cooldown are reduced to 4.2 seconds, and then granted nature's rune pouch. So yeah, I think tier 3, we could have had something better. Recovering ammunition is always important anyway. I mean, it just means you're not hunting shops all the time. You're not burning through your runes or the ammunition you're going to have to go and make or go and collect. But yeah, that's okay, not an issue. Movement abilities is always big because movement and how you move around the game is quite essential in RuneScape 3, so that's, yeah, pretty good. And then the rune pouch will just save you invo space, which I'm a big fan of anyway. The God tier 1 is going to be 1 blessing progression reset. Tier 5 is going to be all wars, wares, rewards are unlocked, which is decent. Your maximum adrenaline is increased by 25%, which at the minute looks like to be the best reward here is that one. Tier 6 is going to be God Books, Scriptures, Grimoires, and Scrimshaws no longer use charges, which is nice because you don't have to go and chase the upkeep, especially things like Scrimshaws. Grimoires is such a pain to go and like upkeep those and go and get new ones in the form of scrimshaws, which is nice. And also equipment no longer degrades, which, you know what, big fan there. Tier 7 is going to be a 95% chance of the saving in terms of runes, ectoplasm, and also ammunition, which I kind of think for a tier 7 one, it's a bit of a cop-out. Like, I mean, 75%, once you've got to that point, you don't really need an upgrade. Tier 7 should have been something really big to jump into. Yes, I know that like the god choices are going to be the main bit about blessings and the sort of passes from there. But I just thought for tier 7, you might have got something a little bit more chunky to go and jump into. But you know what? It's alright, it's okay. And then finally, the god tier 2 is going to be a blessing progression reset. So there's 3 blessing progression resets, which is nice because I imagine that after the first couple of weeks, there'll be some definite metas of the best ones. And if you wanted to go and try some of the most bonkers forms, it's really nice that you can go reset it and go and try that out as well. However, that is going to be Saturday's video. Like I mentioned before, Market Watch was released, so if you guys are interested, go and check that out. I am looking for some feedback because we do have the brand new Grand Exchange tools to use and whether you guys want me to include it. But let me know, what do you think about this? I think it's steady. I think it's okay. I think it's what it needs to be without being over the top. But again, it's passives. You don't want the passives to be more important, stronger than the relics. It's correct for what it needs to be. I just thought at a couple different tiers, you could have had a little bit more or a little bit more power in terms of those as well. But still, as always, it's looking incredibly good. Like, nothing's deterred me at all from all these releases for leagues. But yeah, going to wrap the video up there. Let me know what you guys think about this, and hope you guys have enjoyed. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next drop of the relics or passives or whatever we've got left to see before the league's release.